Tucker Carlson has become an increasingly massive part of right-wing media. So what Tucker Carlson thinks and what Tucker Carlson says, unfortunately, has to be consequential for all of us. That said, to protect my own sanity, I don't regularly watch his show. But thankfully, I can rely on the good folks over at Media Matters to help fill that gap. And we're lucky to be joined on the show live by Media Matters researcher Kat Abughazaleh. Welcome to the Damage Report.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. So your organization, tracks and documents and spreads the things that these political actors and pundits get into, and you've now been on a Tucker Carlson beat for some time, correct?
Yes, I've been on Tucker. I was on before I left Media Matters. I just came back in May, and have been on him since.
And what's that like, watching Tucker Carlson on a regular basis?
It's insane. My brain doesn't look like anyone else's I know. It's that meme from It's Always Sunny, but just constantly, all the time, of me just going like Tucker.
Okay, so we're gonna try to map out all of the different lengths of string on the Pepe Sylvia wall. So Tucker Carlson, I know that in your social media, you've been documenting not just that he's crazy, but that he's been changing over time. I think you've referred to it as the Jokerification of Tucker. How is he changing during the time that you've been watching him?
He's getting more and more dangerous by the day. He is actively encouraging violence. He has been getting more and more unhinged, which you'd think would be impossible for him, but it's gone to the IRS is going to audit you by gunpoint and attacking trans people for grooming kids for literally no reason. These insane conspiracy theories that you thought you'd only hear on InfoWars are now in the 8 p.m. hour on Fox News.
Yeah, and I know that some of the conspiracy theories repeat regularly on a cycle, and then others are thrown up and then never mentioned again. I believe like a week or two ago, wasn't he predicting there would be some sort of diesel shortage or we'd run out of diesel fuel or something, and then that didn't happen and they're just not talking about it anymore? I don't know if you even remember that one.
Yeah, he said that we were running out of diesel fuel because countries were more interested in World War trans. He has not repeated that since. I don't know what happened to World War trans, but it's not on the headlines, that's for sure.
I had not heard about World War trans. And so you've already mentioned multiple different subjects that he gets into, but the transphobia, I know that for people like Matt Walsh and stuff, that's like a regular thing. That's like a majority of their show. Has that been an increasing part of Tucker Carlson's commentaries about the trans community?
Oh, absolutely. And it's only picked up. I mean, he's never been pro-trans people, but in the last year, especially the last 6 months, that's been one of his main narratives. He somehow brings everything back to trans people. In his Fox Nation show, which is the streaming service that Fox News has, he could be talking about anything, and there's almost always a jab against trans people, if not an outright call to violence or accusation that's just off the wall.
I know that for quite a while, he's been really focused on masculinity in his commentary, not in his personal life, clearly, but in his commentary, he's been very focused on it. Is that tied to the way that he's weaving the trans community and everything? Is a belief that people are being feminized or everything's becoming chaotic gender-wise? What seems to be the goal here in focusing on the trans community?
That's what I always ask. I mean, I think the genuine goal is the eradication of the trans community. But when they provide all these conspiracy theories, I don't get what the end point is of making all of our kids trans. There's never an actual goal that they point to or a reason as to why the left is trying to do this. But overall, I mean, his goal is very clear: the demonization and eradication of the trans community.
And when you say that he's encouraging violence, is it constrained to when he's talking about the trans community, or is it popping up in other areas of commentary as well?
Tucker Carlson is great at doing very thinly veiled threats, enough that you could walk it back and say, I was speaking metaphorically. He has a lot of times where he talks about a race war or a civil war, or if they keep acting like this, they shouldn't be surprised when people rise up. But he also does just outright calls to violence, talking about teachers or trans people, saying they deserve to get hurt, or I'm the father of the family, I would beat up anyone that talked to my kid about sex or gender, anything like this. He said at one point during the summer that parents should fight back no matter what the law says. to protect their children against what? Once again, whatever he wants his audience to believe and whatever they think he's saying.
Now, bearing in mind that I'm not a lawyer or anything like that, I'm barely anything. It seems to me that when the right has been sticking their toe in the pool of stochastic terrorism, they're generally pretty vague. They seem to want to cover their tracks a little bit. They will demonize the community, but they don't often say specifically, ignore the law, go hurt people. Is what he's doing in the realm of legal political commentary at this point, or is he perhaps like treading a line that potentially could move over into the area of this is something that someone could actually sue about?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I would like to say that Tucker does not know how to pronounce stochastic terrorism. He says stochastic terrorism, and sometimes he'll say it like multiple times during a show, and I think that's incredibly funny. But I'm not a lawyer either. At this point, it's just amazing that he's still on the air. He says these things and then he'll walk it back. After the Club Q shooting, he was, saying all violence is horrible. This isn't about gay people. But just days before, he was saying, that these things are going to happen. And he had someone the next day that said, if gender affirming care keeps happening, that you shouldn't be surprised when these shootings continue as well. So it's like that defense that Fox had a couple of years ago saying that he's not a news show, he's an entertainment show because no one can believe what he says. You can always just walk it back by saying, well, I was just being, hyperbolic or whatever.
Yeah.
It's a coward's defense, but he uses it all the time.
Yeah, oops, Club Q got shot. I was just goofing, basically.
Who could have thought this would happen?
Exactly, Media Matters probably predicted a long time ago that it was gonna happen. So because you've been watching, I'm also interested in your. This is getting into the area of speculation, perhaps, but when you mentioned there that he mispronounces the word stochastic, I know that he also continues now a couple of years into the Biden administration to mispronounce the names generally of women of color. He can't pronounce any of their names, or he gives them, a nickname or something like that. Is he dumb? And he doesn't actually know how to pronounce these things, or is this a bit? What is your opinion after having watched so much of his show?
I genuinely think he does not know how to pronounce stochastic. As for everyone else, it's just a bit. It's just him being disrespectful on purpose. We had a video that John Kerr at Media Matters did in 2021, I believe, and I was working with him and put the end clip of him. The entire video, he was mispronouncing Kamala Harris's name, all of these women of color specifically. And then there was this one clip where Joe Biden said Goebbels instead of Goebbels, and Tucker said, he can't even pronounce it right. Mm-hmm. It's interesting that that's the name that he wants to pronounce correctly.
Yeah, as a nerd, what I would have really liked is, so he has to say, I don't know, how does he mispronounce her name? He says, Kamala, right?
Says Kamala, and okay. Sometimes he'd be like, she doesn't even know how to pronounce her name.
100%, which I don't understand how you could believe that, but I'm a big fan of Miss Marvel, whose name is Kamala. I was really hoping that it would come up on his show, so he would have to pronounce that wrong the other way, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Maybe when season 2 hits, I don't know. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.